Fuel pump. You can rebuild these. That's your feed to your tank, feed to the carb, crankcase. Remember, mounts like this. Crankcase, outside, feed to the carb, inside, tank. Diaphragms inside of it. What size is this? Small. I think everything's a quarter. No, it's a little bigger. It's just like 5/16 or something. No. Oh, I think it's 5/16. Let me stop it. Show you. Oh, man, video. I don't know. It's 5/16. Believe me. Quarter, 3 bolts. You can mark it, but you don't really have to. Remember how that goes. Remember how this goes. Lines. Mounts this way, facing the back. There's a rebuild kit that you can get. And I took it apart, and I noticed I didn't have any springs in mine. There's supposed to be springs. Someone was probably in here before. Or when I took it apart, the springs went flying, but I don't think they did. So I was working on cardboard. Take it apart though, you get your 3 thread forming screws. And then this comes off. All the screws are the same size. Steel backing plate. Keep it this way. The diaphragm. There's a spring which sits in here like this. There's a diaphragm. It's supposed to be springs though. It's supposed to be a spring over here. And I think there's supposed to be a spring over here. Or was there a spring on this side? That's the back one. No. I think there's 2 springs that had to go in the front. One over here. Yeah, one on this side. Yeah, one spring sits over here. One spring sits over there. Missing. But these aren't in horrible shape. The back one was actually in horrible shape. But it kind of flattened out. That's a good sign. You could just try this with new springs, so I'm probably going to change everything. So, cork gasket in the back, which is pretty deteriorated. And that's pretty much all it is. And it's a kit you buy and replace all these parts and put it back together, and apparently it's good again. I found a diagram online because there's conflicting things even on this website. It shows people putting this thing on backwards, like rubber first. This is, yeah, that's the new one. That's a new cork gasket. This is the old one. So this goes, I actually painted this, it was a little rusty. I just rust converted it and did that. But cork goes first. Some people put rubber first. No, it doesn't go that way. See? Then the flat one goes like this. I cleaned all this before, so I took it apart and realized something was wrong afterwards. Kind of like line up your hole as best you can. It needs to get lined up a little bit. Then, where's the outside one? This is the outside one. Inside one goes. Inside one goes this way. And there's no springs on this one, except for over here. I'm not doing springs yet. It goes down. Bam. See? That matches that witness mark the way it was. The flat one. Now, so plate goes on. That's a cool spring goes on like that with the retainer up. I should really take these hoses off. It's getting all wonky on me. I should. Personally, think this one only takes one. I'm trying to figure out where the second spring goes. I'm confused again. I have a diagram, but I'm confused. See the spring boss over here. I'm not sure where that one goes. I'm gonna try to assemble this. That goes on between this and that. Yeah, tricky, these things. Tricky, especially when you leave the fuel hoses on. I see. They give you a fatter spring and they give you a smaller spring. The fatter spring goes on that post. Goes like that, spring and spring. And the other spring goes over there. got it, finally. Tricky. And then diaphragm. Let's go reassemble it. 3 bolts. I could not show that on camera, but it is real tricky to get all that in there with the springs. But what I found most actually is to a extension straw to one of these holes and use it as a guide, and that keeps everything lined up. Pro tip right there, extension straw fits like perfect, a WD-41. Look at that. Oh, tighten up those things. They're thread forming, so back them out first till they catch and then go forward. But this thing should be rebuilt now and actually function like it should. It was missing all those springs. Do those springs stay on their post when you put it all together, and do they get sucked through the fuel line? I really have no idea. Through here into the engine, I don't know how those go missing. Maybe someone had the part before, I don't know. There's my paint job. It's a little rusty over there, just a little zinc paint. Kinda won't even really notice. It's only in that bottom corner over there. It went a little overkill, it's fine. But yeah, hopefully it works now. That was another part of the problem. Clogged carburetor. This on and off switch is busted, and unit makes power. Unit runs on carb cleaner. Should get a new fuel hose, but we do need to run a fuel hose from here to the tank. I'm gonna do that next, like right now, and maybe we'll get an air cleaner this week, and this thing will be kind of done. So that's how you do it. A post, straw to keep it aligned. And I'm probably going to keep those because that's not really damaged. It's not really damaged. Just the freaking spring was missing. That's 2 small springs. All I needed was 2 small springs really, but that was kind of messed up. This is actually messed up under the piece, but it flattened back out when I fixed it. That's the OEM number for the kit. Also, like aftermarket makes them. They're all over the place. Briggs part. So like, comment, subscribe if you still have an L-head Briggs, and then you got to rebuild the fuel pump. It's real tricky. Use a straw. That was the thing. I was struggling on it with those small springs. Some people say to use grease. I didn't feel like getting grease. Then it just bolts right up, right back over here. And the air cleaner has to come off, but I don't have an air cleaner. Mine didn't come with one. And I just changed the on and off switch. Beautiful. Alright, it's coming together. Like, comment, subscribe, fix your old engines. Just make sure you're in a good area, not like here and the springs go rolling around and you have to go find them again. But it'll be okay. Everything works out in the end.